Hello, greetings, and welcome. I'm Mr. Gopher. And I'm a butterfly. Ooh.
And I'm Troy McClure.
This is KYA San Francisco.
You put on a record, you take it off. You put on another. Does anyone listen to this program except my wife?
Hey, Mr. Gopher. Yeah, what is it, Butterfly? We gotta go, man. We don't want to be late. Late for what? Didn't you hear? Steve finally got his 300 subscribers, so we're having a big party. Oh, does that mean he'll stop whining? No, he'll find something else to whine about. But come on, let's go to the party. Oh, you're choking me. Let's go.
They're all on. What is that, man?
Super dude.
Man, they said this record was bad.
Shut your mouth.
Lonnie Hall, Herb Albert's wife. People accepting rules. They see the doors. See, Let It Be I have. I still have the same one I bought back then. Another one of my formative childhood records. If I didn't already find this, this would be in my last video. This is a reusable bag. This bag is made in the USA. This bag can be reused at least 125 times. This bag is sanitary, waterproof, and contains no heavy metals. Are you sure about that? Electric Wizard. Dope Throne. Needed some Electric Wizard in my collection. This is Sonic Youth washing machine. But this is very special. This is the Australian edition, which is a double disc. The bonus second disc is Screaming Fields of Sonic Love, which is kind of a best of their early stuff. So that's the bonus disc. And it's part of Geffen Tours de Force. Black Rainbows. This is some stoner rock, and this radioactive green vinyl just sucked me in, like the green slime, which is a great movie.
I liked this one.
This was good. Yeah, this was pretty rocking. This was kind of a grail, so I'm actually really stoked. I really appreciate you giving me this. This is the Naked UK Jimi Hendrix Electric Ladyland. Okay, and there's the inside. So that's totally different than the American album. This is the picture that was on his greatest hits CD. They used the same picture. Yeah. So, yeah, I think he wanted this on the front cover, and they kind of jerked him with the naked, you know. It's like West Germany, German
Is
pressing.
that where it came from? I didn't even.
Ja,
I thought
das
it was
ist
written.
gut. Ja. Ja, ich liebe das deutsche vinyl. Wow, this is beautiful. Yeah, yeah. 1983, A Merman, I Shall Turn to Be. One of my all-time favorite tracks. I really appreciate this. All right, well,
Yeah, I've been exchanging my old reprise records for the remastered ones.
are they that much better?
A lot of them are.
Okay.
This one's probably not that much better, but our experience is definitely better.
You see this, the half moon?
Now, you will always find that the planet Venus is shrouded in cloud, so we don't know what the sun.
What the heck? You only once.
This is neither the time
Give
or the
me
place.
a white wine spritzer, 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 spritzer,
Show it's just a game I play. When I wanna show and tell. Show and tell. Just a game I play. Next time, show and tell. Just a game I play when I wanna show. It's so reckless. So like and subscribe. You'll see you next time. Oh, baby. Show and tell, just a game I play when I wanna show you some records. So like and subscribe, and you'll see them next time too. Oh,
This is brilliant. 75 minutes of psychotic terror. The Acid Dreams Testament on the Past and Present label. And it's got the Balloon Farm, Velvet Illusions with their signature song, the Unrelated Segments. Probably one of my favorite tracks of all time, which I said before and said again, I'm a Living Sickness by the Calico Wall. Zachary Thax again, Painted Ship. The Swamp Rats version of Louie Louie, which is maybe the best version of all the 400 versions recorded. Black Lightning Light by the Shy Guys. Yeah. Susie Cream Cheese by Teddy and the Patches. So yeah, good stuff on this. Acid Dreams Testament. This band is called Circus Underwater, and it's came out in like mid-80s, maybe 1984 originally, just an indie produced record. And I got a copy of this back then for free because I was, volunteering with radio stations, and it was in a stack of promo stuff that just kind of fell in my lap. And I had it, I listened to it back then. I remember I was kind of baffled by it because it didn't sound like anything that was happening at the time. It didn't really sound new wave or punk. It sounded, kind of new agey to my ears back then. I thought the title track was interesting because it's not really the title track. It's called The Surface of the Water, but it sounds like they're saying Circus Underwater. So I had it for a while and I traded it, and then there were a couple times where I saw it in record stores and it was a little more than I wanted to pay because, I got it for free and I didn't want to feel like a chump. And then I looked it up online, and the original copy of this is like a $200 record now, and I totally blew it. And that's the bad news. The good news is that it's been reissued. I just bought this reissue. It's been reissued as a double album with a second disc of unreleased tracks that are just really nice and spacey. And listening to it now, I can hear the prog and space rock influences, and it makes more sense to my ears. Should I have kept my original copy? Yes. Would I have bought this reissue? Probably not. Seek out this obscure bit of privately pressed spacey synth prog from the 80s. It's actually pissing me off how good this is. This next one was a blind buy. It was cheap and it was sealed, and the hype sticker made it sound interesting. This was released in 2015 on a label called Medical Records. This band is called Kitty. Kitty. And pretty hard to Google because there were a lot of bands and artists who go by the name of Kitty. They have that kind of 90s sound that I like, where they're kind of crossing the line between indie rock and shoegaze, but then adding more and more electronics into it. Maybe, they compare it to Seafeel and Flying Saucer Attack on the hype sticker. So I did a little research. The band really was from the 90s, from Austin, Texas, and they played around and they recorded a bunch of stuff, but they never put it out on a record until 2015 when it got released. Nice blue vinyl. Kitty.
Epic rap battle. Pavarotti versus Mr. Gopher.
I'm Mr. Gopher. Pavarotti, you ain't so hip, you're just snotty.
Oh, Mr. Gopher, I cooked a meatball out of you.
Hey, Pavarotti, you've been eating too much stew.
This band is called The Records. They're an English band. This is from like 1979. And I think in England the album had a different title, was not self-titled, and had a different cover. But this is my American copy of it. And there they are. And what is cool about this, that has their big hit song, Starry Eyes. It's got the lyrics. It's on Virgin Records. But it also came with a bonus 7-inch single with cover songs. They cover Abracadabra by Blue Ash. They cover See My Friends by the Kinks. Have You Seen Your Mother by the Stones. 1984 by Spirit. So, yeah. This is really their best album. Their second album has some good songs, but it has some less good songs. But this album is solid all the way through. I just want to take a second to debunk something that has been kind of a meme on the internet. Now this is a cassette tape, and the meme is that the cassette tapes and pencils go together. Now look, the pencil is not really, you have to kind of angle it. You can't really turn a cassette tape with the pencil. But if you have one of these old school Bic pens made out of the clear plastic, those fit exactly, perfectly into the cassette holes, and you can turn your tape really smoothly with that.
Why do you need new bands? Everyone knows rock attained perfection in 1974. It's a scientific fact.
Okay, I'm going to go with popular favorite, Red by King Crimson. And this was the final album of this particular lineup of King Crimson before they shut down for a few years and then resurfaced in 1981. But if you saw the movie Mandy with Nicolas Cage, the song Starless was on the opening credits. Some people consider this kind of roots of progressive metal, what with the heavy riffs that dominate the first side of this. This is a nice pressing on Polydor. Just wanted to show you that label. But yeah, I mean, along with Court of the Crimson King, this is another one of the core essential King Crimson albums. And this is Space Experience by John Keating, part of the Studio 2, British late 60s, early 70s instrumental kind of lounge. It's lounge, but it's like huge lounge music. It's funky, real funky rhythm section, a lot of Moog synthesizer and orchestrations. And this is the first volume, and it's a quadraphonic pressing on Columbia. But yeah, great band leader. He's made some Phase 4 stereo records. But the theme from Star Trek with a funky Isaac Hayes theme from Shaft sounding rhythm section playing underneath it is worth the price of admission. And this is just an amazing record. Shakti with John McLaughlin. Of course, John McLaughlin, jazz guitarist from the Mahavishnu Orchestra, and Shakti was him and some Indian musicians, made a few albums, but this is the first Shakti with John McLaughlin album. And here's why I have two copies. So this is just the regular stock copy. You notice there's like a first side, there's like a 20-minute long song, and then a little shorty, and then another song on the other side that takes up the entire side, which I have to tell you, the title of the song is "What Need Have I for This? What Need Have I for That? I am dancing at the feet of my Lord. All is bliss, all is bliss." Well, here's the interesting thing about this record and why I have two copies. This copy with the timing strip on it, this was the white label promo that they sent to radio stations, and they divided the long tracks into 4 or 5 minute segments to make it easier to play bits of this on the radio. "13th Floor Elevators" with Rocky Erickson, one of the prime psychedelic albums. And a million years ago, I was very lucky the way I acquired, it's not in the greatest condition, but this is an OG stereo copy of the album. Originally belonged to Linda. Thank you, Linda. And so I got the OG stereo copy, and then I have this reissued mono copy that has the old style label. And there are some noticeable differences, especially the song "Tried to Hide" at the very end. Different take of "Tried to Hide" with the harmonica and a little faster, unlike the stereo version. Yes. Recently, it has become possible for man to chemically alter his mental state.
Stop! 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 Stop!
Man, he must be having a bad trip.
Through Hell by C.A. Quintet, and I've been a fan of this album since the early 90s when I heard the song "Cold Spider" on a compilation, and I ordered the CD reissue from Sundays to this album that just came out. There was a CD issue, bunch of bonus tracks. There was a double vinyl version that had the bonus tracks on the second disc, but this is kind of bare bones. It's just the album, which is fine because the album itself has a different vibe than anything else this band ever recorded. I mean, you look at the cover, you listen to the music, check out this beautiful red vinyl, and I don't know, people expect, you know, some people expect this to be more proto-metal with a title like "Trip Through Hell," but this is like a Midwestern 60s garage band that decided they needed to try some of this LSD stuff everybody's been talking about, and they had bad trips all around and made this record. It's, you know, it's got the 60s garage instrumentation, but it's also got some female vocals and trumpets, and it kind of sounds like monster movie background music, like the title track. And there are parts where the guitars come in and it's just complete chaos. Like even in the party anthem underground music, the guitars just go insane on this record. And I love this album, and I'm like, I should have a vinyl copy of it and not just the compact disc. This is Sonancy by Loop, and if you remember Loop from the early 90s, they were English stoner psychedelic rock. Loop was not just a clever name, because a lot of their songs were just like the same riff over and over again, and far from being boring, it was like mesmerizing and hypnotic. And this album continues in the style of classic Loop. Some of the tracks with vocals are a little more new wavy sounding, but it's still got the Loop format of the repetition. The hype sticker says, first studio album since Gilded Eternity. And this came out in 2021. It's MVB, My Bloody Valentine, and it's the long-awaited My Bloody Valentine album. Again, it didn't come out until like 2013, I think, and they did a tour, and at the time I thought I would like this more if I didn't have to wait till I come back to your side. We'll forget the tears we cried.
Announcing the Western Hemisphere premiere of a Beatles film. At the Straight Theater, Haight and Cole Streets in San Francisco, benefiting FM Strikers for Artistic Freedom. This'll be your only chance to see the Beatles Magical Mystery Tour. And it's this Sunday and Monday with continuous showings from noon. Last show begins at midnight. The Beatles color film Magical Mystery Tour at the Straight Theater, Haight and Cole Street, San Francisco, this Sunday and Monday.
This is King Jammy. Some brilliant dub reggae, and came out a couple of years ago. It's called King Jammy Destroys the Virus with Dub. You know, unlike Eric Clapton or Van Morrison, he decides to actually do something about this crisis. King Jammy destroys the virus with dub, as you can see. This is right up there with any classic dub reggae album, and it came out like, what, 2 or 3 years ago. It's got a poster, which is pretty much the same drawing. But yeah, this harkens back to like the old scientists versus the vampires, etc., etc. But yeah, dub, man. I mean, it's not in the best condition, but this is an OG copy of Psychotic Reaction by the Count 5. The B-side is the song called They're Gonna Get Ya. And spoiler, who's gonna get you? The barbers, and cut your hair off. Oh, watch out, hippies. All right. This is one I found in an antique store way back in the past. This band is called the Cherokee, and they're doing a cover of Willie and the Hand Jive. And oddly enough, it's on the Ranwood label, which was Lawrence Welk's record label. And there's kind of a Yardbird style rave up in the middle that they overdubbed a horn section for some reason. The other side, which I guess the star means this is actually the A side, was a cover of The Who's I Can't Reach You. All right. This is the Open Mind Magic Potion. They were an English band. They were from London. And this was a bonus 45 that came with the reissue of the album that I bought many years ago. Okay. This one is really special. On the Star Trek label, this is Facts of Life by the Extreme. And if you can see in the grooves where the grooves get more dense, that's where the fuzz guitar kind of drowns out the rest of the music. And again, on the flip side is a cover of The Who, which was probably the A side, but they do a cover of The Who's Substitute. And Yo, Brian, look, they were from St. Louis, or the label was from St. Louis anyway. All right. The Art of Rahsaan Roland Kirk, The Atlantic Years. This also I got at a thrift store recently, and there's a little bit of damage to the cover, but not only the inside sleeves, but the records themselves are in really great condition. And this is an anthology of Rahsaan's work on the Atlantic label, volunteer slavery, and tribute to John Coltrane, The Inflated Tear. But yeah, Rahsaan was a fascinating character. He was blind, and he could play 3 horns in his mouth at the same time. This is Odetta Sings by Odetta, mostly known for folk music, a little bit of blues. This was kind of her foray into adult contemporary 70s rock in a way. This has the song Hit or Miss, which was kind of a hit retroactively because it turned up on compilations. But she also does like Paul McCartney songs, Mama Told Me Not to Come, Elton John, Take Me to the Pilot. Beautiful version of the Stones' No Expectations. Produced by John Boylan. And Terrence Boylan, his name is on there. Those are the Apple Tree Theater guys. And this is a white label promo on Polydor. And I was gonna bite the bullet and like get a reissue off of Discogs, but I am super stoked to have this. This is a really wonderful record. Okay, this next record is a blind buy. I literally bought it because the colored vinyl looked cool. So I'm going to show you that just right off the bat. Look at that. It's like ice cream. Okay, and this band is called Lurk. And the album is called Around the Sun. And it's from 2021 on the Pure Noise label. And they are a punky kind of band. There's like elements of punk rock and pop punk and new metal in it. And I don't know what to say. It's just it's a real fist pumper. I mean, right off the bat, they talk about the old and boring look and shake their heads, but fuck them. And I'm old, but I like to think I'm not boring.
This weekend, the largest record store in the known world, Tower Records, Columbus and Bay in San Francisco, super discounts to only $2.88, the fabulous new stereo album by Blue Cheer. It's Blue Cheer's latest album, Outside Inside, loaded with 12 tracks and only $2.88 in stereo at Tower Records, Columbus and Bay.
For real, when I was a kid, like maybe 4 years old, 5 years old, I had this really freaky dream with this eerie music running through it. And the music turned out to be the Perry Mason theme. It must have been on TV while I was asleep or something. I'm a butterfly, I'm a butterfly, and I'm actually flying. Don't pay no attention to the hand underneath me. I'm actually flying, 'cause I'm a motherfucking butterfly, yeah, yeah, yeah. That is the first Alvin and the Chipmunks album.
Oh, wow.
Before you see they look different because the cartoon didn't come out yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's not on red vinyl, but it's playable enough. You know, most of the time those kind of records are beat to shit because the original owners were 8-year-olds.
I love these sleeves.
Other albums you can buy.
Show everything else that was out at the time.
Other albums you can buy.
Real piece of history, I tell ya.
No.
This is way before cell phones, man. This is the start of cell phones right here. You guys want to see the origination of wherever you guys are in your pocket.
A special plastic material, just the right amount for one record is pressed into place. As the mold closes, heat and pressure force this material into every convolution of the stamper. The result, a playing record ready for use. A flawless reproduction of the human performance in the recording studio.
Hello, girl. This is me, and I just want to let you know I don't love you no more. You and I through.
The single Mexicali Baby, backed with Mexican rock and roll by the Rio Rockers, and the Kogars that I showed in a previous video covered Mexican rock and roll. I'm pretty sure the Flat Duo Jets covered Mexicali Baby, but the promo copy of this was a 6-song EP, which is very unusual. I mean, 4-song EPs were not so unusual, but this was a 6-song EP. Also included Too Young to Be Blue and Bessie Baby by Jerry Reed. Doesn't sound like the same Jerry Reed that did the country music later on. This was more kind of 50s pop, early rock and roll. This is from 1958. And then it also has Taillight and Snuggle Bunny by Sammy Hagan and the Viscounts. Another, you go to Google that, you get Sammy Hagar. But I'm pretty sure it's the same Viscounts that did Harlem Nocturne and had instrumental hits, except a little more rockabilly with a frontman singer. So yeah, so I think this is the record in my collection that it took me the longest amount of time to find. This cover is just ridiculous. This is almost hypnosis with how surreal it is. They're all being strangulated by stock market tape, looking really serious. But yeah, Sunshine Grove is a really catchy song. Again, this is like white boy soul through a Mike Curb movie soundtrack filter. Produced by Mike Post, who did music for all the cop shows, every single one of them. But yeah, this is another one that every copy of this I've ever seen has been on this promo label. So who knows if anybody even bought it.
This is KYA San Francisco. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sparta Electronic Corporation is one of the worst electronic companies in the United States, famous throughout the land for the wonderfulness of their machinery and the efficiency of their place and all that stuff.
Well, I don't know if lichens are actually good for a forest or not, but I know lichens are good for my videos. What kind of lichens? Like and subscribe and leave a comment. All right, peace. All of you, thank you. Everybody who's been commenting and watching and giving me interesting information and just kind of giving me a high five. I really appreciate that I can just sit here and rattle off and talk about stuff that's, my little takes on the music and records and stuff. And, there's people who believe me or people who want to, have a discussion. That means I'm not just hallucinating, that I'm really seeing it like this. Alright, that's enough shit for a video. Time to go home.